So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can test out the energetic field of crystals, how you can test how energetic that energy is, and how size doesn't matter, and the difference between tumbled and natural crystals. So I'm going to take you on a journey with a number of my crystals. I'm going to test their energetic influences, tell you a little bit about them and how I work with them. So I hope that you're going to enjoy this video. Okay, so the first group of crystals that we're going to see the energy of are spheres, and I've got several spheres here. This one being a smoky quartz. I think I might start with this one. The interesting thing about the shape of the sphere is that you can reliably assume that the energy is going to come out of the sphere shape in an equidistant way. So these are really good to have in the center of a room so that they can emanate their wonderful energies out. So it will be interesting to see just how energetic these babies are and what the difference is, and just see what the kind of energy shape that they make with the pendulum and the rod. So as I say, this is a smoky quartz. Nice piece of smoky quartz there. Smoky quartz is great for grounding and for protection, so a nice one to have. It's really good for dissipating the energy of electromagnetic frequencies, so Wi-Fi and radio frequency. It's really good for just kind of reducing the impact of that. So a nice crystal, nice all-round stone to have. So let's start with seeing what its energy is. And we're going to use a rod for this, and I'm going to pop the rod where it's touching the crystal, and I'm going to ask the rod to show me the edge of this crystal's energy field. And so I'm going to slowly come out, and you can start to see it's moving there. Now if I went the other way, so if I come out a little bit further and come in, you'll start to see the rod being pushed. So I would say it's probably, I'm not very good at dimensions, but maybe it's maybe about 18, 20 inches. Now, what I'm very interested to see, given that we know that these create this kind of equidistant energy fields, what is it like on the other side? So I'm going to take the rod, and so it's starting to react around about the same distance. So if I come in here, see it's starting. So it's about the same distance that it's actually emanating its energy round. So now I'm going to take my pendulum and just have a look to see what's going on with the energy field. And so I've asked the pendulum to show me the energy field of the sphere. And it's kind of starting to lessen off about here, which is fairly similar to that kind of distance that I was getting with the other crystal, and with the rods. And interestingly, there was a very kind of even swing as it was moving. So that is the smoky quartz. But now let's have a look at this little quartz sphere here. This is a crystal that I will scry into to get insight into things that I want to ask about. So it's a beautiful piece. Kind of looks like a planet in the sun there, doesn't it? So let's have a look. So we'll start by seeing what the energy field is of the quartz. So it's starting to. So it's very, very similar to the clear quartz, in that if I move it the other way, and it's kind of pushing back there. Hopefully, yeah. I wish you could feel this, and if you've got a set of rods, I do invite you to test the energy of your own crystals, because literally as I'm taking the rod, there is a resistance, so the energy is pushing the rod back, which is always fascinating to me. So it's a fairly similar size energy field. We take the pendulum. Now, what's really interesting about the energy of this one, if you can see, it's far more active. So the smoky quartz was definitely slower vibration, I think, very grounding, very earthy, whereas this is, as you can see, very, very energetic. Now, is that because I've had it for many, many years now and, scry regularly into it? So is it full of all of my wonderful psychic energy? And the higher I go, the more helicopter it is. So a really wonderfully high vibration crystal, very, very different than the smoky quartz. So a lot of energy coming out of this, which really it just goes to show that size doesn't matter in crystals. So this is a smaller size crystal to the smoky quartz, but that had a kind of a very, it felt just kind of a denser energy, certainly not as light and fizzy as this one. So let's try our rose quartz. Of course, this is a beautiful crystal that is all about love and compassion of self and others. So I have this in my living space just to remind everybody that's here, that comes and spends time here, that we come from love, and that is the energy that we want to promote. So rose quartz. Let's have a look at what the energy field of rose quartz is doing. Oh, I can already feel it emanating there. So I'm going to ask to show me the edge of the. Now, it's starting to get. This is bigger, definitely than the smoky. I don't know. There we go. It's starting to react there. So it's certainly a little larger than the smoky quartz. I'm going to go into the camera if I go any further. Let's see what it does on this side. So again, asking to show me the edge of the energy. And it's a lot more expansive. Here we go. It's coming in there. So that's a lot bigger, kind of energy-wise than the smoky quartz. And again, I'm going to take my pendulum and look at just kind of what is the energetic aspect that the crystal is emanating. Not as active as the quartz, the clear quartz, as you can see. It's just got a very regular kind of swing. It's certainly not this high vibration and fizzy. So although the energy field is more expansive than the rose quartz over the smoky quartz, what I'm finding is that there is kind of a similar energy signature. It's definitely low key, almost like just humming out into the environment. So very different again. So this one is calcite, Calcite is such a beautiful crystal. Anyway, this is green calcite. It's probably going to be hard to see. It's not a very deep green color, but it does have this green kind of hue to it. A beautiful crystal, really good for heart chakra work, because green is associated with heart chakra, certainly the lower heart anyway. But green is, it's kind of a, it's a cooling color, isn't it? It makes me think of just taking the heat out of something. Really good for mental clarity. I know yellow often is associated with mental clarity, but green calcite for me is just that kind of activator on a mental level. Lots of wonderful things. Calcite is an amazing crystal because it comes in so many variety of colors that, I think depending upon the deepness of the colors, you can do a full chakra layout just with calcite crystals, and they're very gentle crystals. So let's see what the energy field is for these. So taking my rod, there we go. So I don't know, it's a lot closer in than the other spheres. So I'll show you that again. So not a wide, expansive aura at all, energy field. So that is interesting, but let's see what our pendulum says here. So I'm going to, now already I'm getting a more livelier swing, as you can see. So although it's got a reasonably closer energy field to it, it's got a very high energy, which is beautiful. Imagine laying with that on the center of your body and allowing the energy to flow all around and through you with that. So yeah, lots of energy with that crystal. Now this is an interesting one. So this is amber. So amber being a tree resin, but it's a reconstituted amber in that they take all sorts of different pieces of amber and they kind of liquefy it, they melt it down, and then they mold it into a sphere. So that's what that is. And I do scry in this, which was quite interesting because there's so much life in there that I get to use it as a scrying tool, as a way to tap into my intuition. You can just get lost in that. So let us have a look to see what this amber is doing. So we get our rod. It's already reacting. So I'm going to ask it to show me the edge of the amber's energy field. Getting a little bit of a resist. There we go. So already starting to feel that resistance. So it's fairly, expansive. It's probably a little bit bigger than the smoky quartz. I should have brought a tape measure really, shouldn't I? But I'm sure you don't want me to be that exact. So let's have a look to see what's going on energetically. Well, not a lot. It is not as energetic even as the smoky. And in fact, what I'm finding is that we're getting an uneven swing. Although the sphere is accurately sphere shaped, I'm getting a very uneven swing, which I find very, very interesting. And is that to do with how it was produced, how it was, kind of put together? I don't know. So I would not use this necessarily in a healing session, but for me it is a fantastic scrying crystal. So it's not a crystal, it's a resin, but so I use that for that, but that's interesting. And then we have, this is the last sphere that we're going to play with. This is an onyx sphere. So onyx, very grounding, very connected to the earth. So if you wanted to kind of really pin your feet back on the floor, then this is a good one to use. So it's very heavy, it's very dense, and as you can see, it's very black. So let's have a look at what's going on energetically with the onyx. And it's coming in about there, so probably similar to the smoky quartz. Yeah, getting resistance there. And then I'm going to test it with the pendulum. Again, a very slow moving, but a nice even swing, but it's not necessarily a high vibration. So interesting. If I wanted to raise my vibration, I think I would definitely be working with this little guy here. And as I said before, size doesn't matter. This is the smallest of the spheres and the one that definitely has more energy. So let's have a look at some different shapes and test the energy fields of those. So here we have some different crystal shapes, well, not necessarily shapes, but different formations of crystals. That's the word I was looking for. These are all natural, so they haven't been shaped by the hands of a person. So they've come out of the ground like this and then been cleaned. So I'm going to start with this amethyst cluster. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to start with this amethyst cluster. Hopefully you can see that with the sun. Oh, it's not exactly sun out there, but it's definitely lighter. I don't know if that's having an effect, but I wanted you to be able to see a nicer scene as I'm doing this, as opposed to a wall. So this is amethyst. This is how it's grown. This is a crystal that's really good for headaches, for sleep issues. So if you struggle to fall asleep or to stay asleep, working with amethyst is really good. It's also a very good third eye crystal, so good for psychic development and a whole host of other things. But how I use this, and it's fantastic because it just fits in my hand and it's got the right amount of points on there. So I use this to clear the holistic spine. So that's the energetic build-up that gets trapped in our physical spine. So I use that for this purpose, which is fantastic. So let's see energetically what's going on with this. So I'm going to ask, as I did before, show me the edge of the aura. That's what I'm asking for, or the edge of the energy field. There we go. So it's coming in about there. So a nice, good, solid energy. So we're going to bring our pendulum and look, it's building up momentum. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start to bring this up, because the crystal points, so where a crystal is terminated, where the point is, that's focusing the energy. So we've got several points there. I fully expect it's going to get more energetic the higher it is. And as you can see, it is doing that because it's literally focusing the energy up. So I'm not going to go much higher than that, because I'll come out the end of my the vision. But as you can see, it is totally more energetic the higher you go, to the closer to the crystal, and that is because of these wonderful points that it has. This is the focusing of the energy. So if you can imagine, I'm working to clear energy from the holistic spine. Those points are fabulously helpful. So that is that. Let's have a look at this. One of my favorite crystals, but they're all favorites of mine. This, again, I don't know how well you're going to see this. Okay, oh, there you go. So this is kyanite. This is a natural clump of kyanite. As you can see, it forms in these blades. It's why it's called St. Michael's sword, because it's blade-like. I've had this for many years now. I don't necessarily work with this. It's a very crumbly. So this is one that I bring to the space to definitely I bring that kind of angelic feel into it. But I will also use it for connection. So if I'm meditating, I might have this in my the space that I'm meditating in, particularly if I want to make a connection to the angelic realm or to the ascended masters. So this is kind of how I work with this crystal. Oh, so already look at that, how interacting it is there. So I'm going to bring now. I'm going to hit the camera, so I'm going to go the other way because I feel that the energy of this crystal is definitely much larger than where the camera is. So it's interacting with the energy, but it's not quite done. There you go. So it's pretty far. See, you can see there, I'm kind of at the outer edges there as I pull it in. But you saw it kind of interacting with different bands as it went up. But this has got a very, very expansive energy biofield around it. So let's have a look at what it's doing with the pendulum. Oh, interestingly, so it's all over the place, and I would expect that, given that it's like clumps of all sorts. But let's have a look. I already feel it's going. We might want to bring it up, as we've got like a point here. Oh, it's just got such a high, beautiful energy. Oh, and look at that around that side there. Now, as you're looking at me working with the pendulum, you might think my hand's moving. Well, how we work with Dowsing implements, it is slight muscle movements that are coming from our unconscious into our conscious mind and then into our muscles, but that just gives it momentum and slight movement. Where you saw my hand moving there, that is the force of the pendulum swinging. There's no way that I can keep my hand totally still as it's working like that. As you can see, it's starting to build momentum, and my hand's going with it. So that's why it looks like, my hand is moving it, but it literally, and you know, you need to feel this, because this has just got an incredibly high energy and vibration all around it. Absolutely beautiful. No wonder I use it in meditation to connect with higher guides. Let's have a look at this. So this is smoky quartz again. They might see a theme. I like my smoky quartz. It's a beautiful naturally formed point. This is such an incredible grounding crystal for me. So I will, I mean, it's heavy, but I will lay this on my body when I need grounding. So if I need grounding, I have it the point towards my feet. So I'm literally just, you know, pulling the high vibration energy down and kind of into the ground, which is beautiful. If I wanted to bring its wonderful protective energy in, then I might bring the point towards me. It's one thing that is really good with points. And of course, it's got this wonderful little baby as well. There's so much that's going on about this crystal. You've got rainbows aplenty in there. I don't know if you can see those. I also use this often when I'm doing my house healing work. So I use it to ground me. So when I'm tapping in and working remotely with my dowsing tools and my intuition, then, you know, I can go into a very deep state. And so sometimes just, you know, kind of bringing my senses back to this crystal is a really good grounder for me. It just kind of keeps my feet on the floor. And then the other thing that I often do is I'll kind of, you know, tap the pendulum on there just to remove any of the stale stuck energy that it may have accumulated in the dowsing work. So, you know, all my crystals, they really do work with me. They have jobs, if you will, but for me, crystals are sentient beings, so they work in partnership with me. You know, we have conversations about how best they can bring their gifts and how we can work together. And even doing this, you know, activity, all of the crystals that I chose agreed to come and to work with me like this. So I do advocate for that, checking in and making sure that it's the will of the crystals being honoured as well. So without further ado, let's have a little look here. So asking to see the outer. So we've got, it's about, I guess, similar to the other smoky, but what I'm curious about, and I'm going to bring it a little bit further away, I'm curious as to what this point is doing to the energy. So it's interacting with the field, as you can see. So it's definitely, we're going to hit the camera. Here we go. So it's definitely, so that point is definitely making a difference. There's something, you know, emanating out of this end that isn't, you know, from the other side as well. And of course, we've got 2 points there that the pendulum's interacting with. So let's have a little look at what our pendulum, sorry, I should have said the rod was interacting with. So let's have a look at our pendulum. So in the neutral, asking it to, you know, show me the energy of the aura. Well, there's quite a lot going on with this all over. Oh my goodness. What a high energy smoky that is. And as we get to the point end, there's a lot going on there. I'm curious as to, so it's kind of dissipating a little bit the further that we go. Still reasonably energetic, but definitely closer here and closer to the point. There's a lot going on there. Oh, beautiful. I do love these wonderful beings. So let's go with this one. So this is a piece of fluorite, and it's blue. Fluorite is one of my most favorite crystals. I'm hoping you can see. Oh, there you go. You're getting some of that blue color there. So this is, naturally formed, and it's just a lovely, amazing crystal to work with. Blue fluorite, really good for learning. You can use this for sharpening your mind, but blue is an astringent color. It has, so this can take the heat out of things. This has a cooling effect. So whether that's on, something that is inflamed in your body, but also inflamed in your emotions as well. So this is a really good, a good crystal for that. And just an all-round good guy to have around. It's special. So let's see, energetically asking the rod to show me the outer edge. So see, size doesn't matter. Smaller crystal, but with a really, there we go, with a really big packing a punch. And then if we take our pendulum, and there's points here, so you can see as I'm kind of touching the point, and the further I go, it's definitely getting a higher vibration, higher energy it's picking up. It kind of lessens off about there. And then around on this point. Well, there's a lot going on there. That's the spot. Wow. Well, a really good ally to have in your corner. Let's have a look at this one. So this is quartz, but it's called lodolite, or often it's called a shaman's stone. So as you can see, it's got all sorts of wonderful growths and inclusions in there. And I'm going to give a shout out to a wonderful friend of mine, Penelope, who gifted me this amazing stone, and I am grateful and appreciative every day of being in partnership with this wonderful being. Now, this for me is a journeying stone, so this really does help me to journey to the other worlds, lower world journeys in particular. So I can use this for, power animal journeys and all of that wonderful thing. So it is fabulous to work with. So let's have a look, see what's going on here. Now I'm really surprised at this because I felt that the energy was more contained kind of within with this crystal, but wow, it's still got a nice expansive energy field. So I've got some interaction there, but I actually feel like it's a little bit bigger than that. There we go. So that's quite huge. So I'm interested to see what the pendulum shows me here. So there is a wonderful point on this, so I'm going to just take the pendulum up, and as you can see, it's definitely getting livelier the higher you go. I can't go any higher, and you still see that, but it's so energetic there. And bringing it down, you can start to see it kind of slowing. So it, it's still got energy, but it's kind of more directed to the point, and then as you move up, it gets higher and higher and higher and higher. So, I just snorted then, my apologies. Yeah, what an amazing little stone that is. I'm going to leave Big Bertha to the end, but this is called stellar beam calcite, and this comes from the Dogwood mine in the States, and in my opinion we get the best stellar beam calcite from there. Sometimes it's called dogtooth calcite, but that doesn't do it for me. Stellar beam calcite. And this, I think the clue to how it works with you is in the shape, but also in the name. So stellar beam, what does that evoke in you? So it's a really good, another journeying crystal, but really good for outer world. So, going into the stars, the cosmos, really connecting in with ETs and otherworldly beings. So an amazing crystal for that. So let's see. And I love the fact that it's just got this wonderful, you see little nodule on there. I love that. I call it this little nubbin. So let's have a look what is going on with our stellar beam calcite. Interacting, hasn't got to the outer edge yet. Okay, I'm going to have to bring it a little bit further because it's definitely bigger. So, coming out. Wow. There we go. Well, that's quite the energetic field that this, sorry, hit the camera. Quite an energy coming off this baby. And it's funny, I was gifted another piece of stellar beam calcite from the same mine, and it's pink colour. Maybe I'll put a photograph of that on the screen so you can see that. But so this was my original piece, and then I was gifted the pink piece, and I put them on the same shelf together. And this stellar beam calcite really did not like being at the same level. So I'm happy when I have this piece higher than the pink piece, and they seem to get along really, really well there. But energetically, this wanted to be a little bit higher. So it was just fascinating to see. So let's have a look at what our pendulum does when we're interacting with the energy. Well, big, energetic swing. Oh, the force that I can feel in the pendulum is crazy. We're getting to some of these wonderful terminations. I mean, literally, I'm struggling to kind of hold the pendulum in between my thumb and my forefinger because the strength of the energy, and oh my goodness, it's even going kind of almost like perpendicular. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, no wonder I love this so much. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to have to stop that, otherwise I think my pendulum might fly away. So yay, amazing beauty. And then finally, let's have a look at Big Bertha. So Big Bertha is obviously clear quartz. It's terminated. It's got some nice little other side friends that it has as well. So this sits in my entrance hall very majestically. Maybe Big Bertha isn't a very majestic name, but she kind of likes it. Very feminine energy with it as well. And this is just a piece that holds space for the home, which is a wonderful thing for it to do. So I think I'm saying air a lot, so my apologies with that. I will try and do better. So let's have a look. A lot of pushing energy on this. There we go. So not huge from this side here, from this kind of edge, but curious as to what's happening here at the terminated side. So I'm not going to be able to go far up because, of course, you won't be able to see. But oh yeah, there's a very, very beautiful energetic swing, which as I'm going higher is definitely getting more energetically charged, I guess. But I can't go any higher than that because you won't be able to see me on the camera. So a lot of energy that's coming out of this crystal, and literally what I get the sense of, it's coming up, it's pouring out, and it's just bringing this high, loving energy into the home. And I'm very grateful that I get to share space with this. So thank you for bearing with me. I just have one other set of crystals that I want to just test with you, and these are some of my tumble stones and my smaller stones. Again, I always say that size doesn't matter when it comes to crystals and their energetic properties. So I want to demonstrate that, and I also want to demonstrate, the difference between tumbling and natural as well, because there will be an energetic difference. That doesn't mean to say that natural are better than tumbles. I work with tumbles all of the time and absolutely adore them. So we're going to just look at the energetic differences, if there are any, with tumbles and natural, but we're going to go small. So let me get that started for you. Here are some of my small. I have a lot of crystals, not because I'm a hoarder, although who doesn't love buying crystals, but because I work with them. I'm a master crystal healer. I get to bring the wonderful crystal energy to the experience of my clients. So I have a lot of them, and it was really hard to choose because many of them were saying, yeah, me. So I tried to limit it as best I can, but I still have a few out here. We'll see how we get on. So as you can see, I've got some tumbled stones, and I also have some more natural rough stones as well. And really just wanted to talk about size and how size really doesn't matter when it comes to crystal healing. I remember having a very small, about that big, thin crystal point that absolutely packed a punch. So really size doesn't matter, but all of the crystals that I partner with, I partner with them because of their innate natural vibration. They're a high vibration crystal. So let's start with so orange calcite. So I've got a tumbled variety and a natural variety. Let me come in close there. And just to see what the differences might be with these. Now, I'm not going to take the rod over them. I'm just going to use my pendulum. So we're going to see just what. Well, this is quite amazing. The energy of this orange calcite. It's definitely expansive. Again, this is I can't quite hold the the chain in my fingers. So it's getting a little bit, oh no, it's actually getting stronger as I go up. So, oh my goodness, so this is definitely an energetic crystal. No wonder I like to work with that. Oh, it's like a helicopter. So the tiniest, smallest little stone, yet still packs a punch. So let's have a look at the rough. So this has not been tumbled in any way. I'm going to see what my pendulum does. Again, it's got a high energy. Now, orange calcite, obviously, it connects in with your sacral chakra. Really good for bringing energy in. Good for, joy and happiness. And there's a lot going on here. But if I was going to say which one was the more energetic, I would say it was this one, the tumbled variety, and it's obviously a little bit smaller. So orange calcite. Now let's have a look at fluorite. So this is a piece of natural rainbow fluorite. It's untumbled. It's obviously a little bit larger, or quite a bit larger than this piece here, which is fluorite, and it has, it's definitely more on the blue side. And this is a crystal that I use an awful lot because, you can just feel the energy when you pick it up. But let's test it out with our trusty pendulum. So let's see what this is doing. So I'm going to bring it up so we can see how far. Now, where these felt kind of fizzy, this definitely feels more measured, solid, but really, really energetic. And then let's have a look at what this does. Definitely got less of a swing. So and here's interesting. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's almost like it slows down and then it picks up. There's almost like a memento, a breath, a rhythm with this crystal, which is absolutely fascinating. I'm not quite sure I know why, but looking forward to getting to know that a little bit. But out of the two of them, this definitely had more energy. See, size doesn't matter, and tumbling does not impact. So this is lapis lazuli, as it's tumbled, and then this is lapis lazuli as it's untumbled. A really good third eye crystal. It's a good throat chakra crystal as well, but there's a lot of kind of third eye intuition, insight that you can get from lapis. So high vibration for sure, as you can see that. Again, it's untumbled, so it's tumbled, so the tumbling process hasn't made a difference there. Oh yeah, there's a lot going on. I'll stop that there and see what our rough piece is, which is a little bit smaller than the tumbled version. Building up momentum. Yeah, a lot of energy coming from this as well. So two nice high vibration crystals. I'm really curious as to whether or not where this point is seems to be, impacting the energy as I, kind of work specifically around this point. It's definitely, and you can see it's kind of it was kind of going on it was rotating as well. So that's beautiful. So I'm not going to do them all just from a time perspective, but this is a piece of Preseli bluestone. Preseli bluestone comes from the Preseli Mountains in West Wales, and it's kind of one of my heart crystals in that it is, sorry if you're not seeing that very well, in that it is, this stone makes up the inner ring of Stonehenge. So this really kind of connects me to my Irish, Celtic roots. It connects me to just a time and a space when there was magic in the air. You know, the Preseli Mountains definitely have Arthurian legend connected to it. It's definitely where Merlin is associated. So this for me is a very magical stone. So I'm curious. I have lots of Preseli bluestone because I work with it a lot, but let's see what it's happening energetically. So definitely got a nice energy. It doesn't feel as fizzy as some of the others, as you can see, but it's definitely got an expansive energy going on. Oh, now here we've got to a little point. It definitely feels more energetic there. I don't know if you can see that. And again, the energy is kind of pushing the pendulum on its side a little bit. As it's going around. Ooh. This has definitely built up momentum for sure. So I'll stop the pendulum there. From a time perspective, I am going to end, but hopefully I've shown you that really there isn't necessarily a difference between the raw and the tumbled. They both have the capacity and the ability to be beautiful high energy vibrations, and size doesn't matter either. You know, some of these smallest crystals are the fizziest and the highest energy. So I would highly recommend that you choose your crystals for their energetic components, if that's the word, their energetic essence. And definitely I would highly recommend that you ask and partner and treat them like a friend and not just something to be used and abused. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed my my playtime with some of my crystals. I hope you learned something. I hope I've inspired you maybe to pick up your pendulum, and if you've got a rod, your rods as well. But you can do both of those activities just with the pendulum anyway. So hopefully I've inspired you to see what's going on energetically with the crystals that you share your life with. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thank you always for watching and supporting the channel, and enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ta for now.